We gon' put your business on display. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, we gon' put your business on display. I got winners on the way. You know you can't knock the hustle. And if you gotta get in place, then we gon' put your business on display. Grab a seat, we need you for a minute. And if you got the goods, we can talk about your business. She know what it's like to make a move independently. And I don't fake us like that. We been trusting God like that. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, we gon' put your business on display.
Well, good morning. Happy Saturday, everyone. Happy Saturday. If you are just joining us, we are excited to be here. Today, we are here with Nisha's Network with Insightful Moments with Nisha. And I am so grateful to be here every Saturday morning. Today, we have a double duo. So I'm really excited just to dive right into my special guest today. How many of you all know that when you struggle with an area, God will use that same area to bring healing, not to just for yourself, but it will bring healing, love, and grace to everyone in your community, everyone in your family, and not just to yourself. So it's never just for you. So if you are having struggle with accessing his grace today and knowing how to really love on yourself and forgive yourself, you want to go ahead and share and join this conversation today. I am privileged to have a very special guest, one of my honorary younger sisters, my family, a diva in her own right. That's what I'm gonna say, and that's none other than Miss Kentavia Johnson. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
That
Good
was
morning. Good
cute.
morning. So if you all are watching this, you may be watching it from Nisha's Network, you may be watching it from YouTube, wherever you're watching, or you may be watching it from my personal page, but please go ahead and hit share. You don't want to miss out on this conversation today. She is Miss Diva Extraordinaire. There is never a day Kentavia does not step out with a step out. You understand what I'm saying? She is always going to be fantabulous on steroids, okay? Her whole presence makes a statement. Her voice projects her. She exudes not only spectaculousness, but she also I want to say makes a difference. And I want to say I'm excited just to know you. And I had the lovely privilege of meeting Kentavia through her beautiful sister Katina Owens. So we're just family. It's been some years, but I am honored to have you here as my guest today to talk about accessing his grace. And I just want to say this before I dive into you giving us a little bit of an introduction, is the fact I chose the topic loving her the name of today's segment is access to his grace, and I'll tell you why. But one of the things that really I thought about was loving her and loving yourself. And the reason I chose that is because Kentavia, I really think, you walk in that loving yourself kind of thing, girl, and I just really am grateful just to say, I'm honored to know you and I'm honored to watch you from afar. And we'll get into all of that, but I want you to say good morning to everyone.
Good morning, everyone. Hopefully, everyone's doing great on this somewhat cloudy Saturday. Yeah,
In the
that's it.
Chicagoland area.
In the Chicagoland area. Yes, it is cloudy. We have that bipolar weather here because it was 70 the other day, and today is 40. You gotta love
Yes.
Chi-Town. You gotta love Chi-Town. So, good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Okay, so you know what? I want you just to introduce everyone. Tell them a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, and what's going on with you, what you do professionally. Also, apart from your new adventures.
Okay. Well, again, I'm from Chicago. And, from Chicago, we are excited to either rep the west side or the south side. It doesn't matter where you're from, but guess
Whoop.
what? I'm from the west side, and I'm so excited about it. I am from the west side of Chicago. By profession, I am an educator, so a special education teacher. That's my profession. Love my babies in high school. I will definitely rep the best high school on the west side, the Collins Academy. So yay, yay, yay,
Okay,
yay.
okay, okay.
Okay. And what else? I have a daughter, clearly. who is 21. She is at Clark, Atlanta. I am so proud of her.
I know
Yes,
you
I'm really
are.
proud of her. What else did you
And
ask me?
what is her name? Your daughter.
Oh, my daughter's name is Zaria Ayana.
Hi, Zaria. Good morning.
Hopefully she can tune in. She's doing some things and that's keeping her up late at night.
Okay, we understand
Oh,
college
right.
life, right?
Yeah, in college, she's but she said she was gonna try and check in. She had a something she had to go to this morning, but she said she was gonna try and check in and support her mom.
All right. Oh, she's here. She said, "Good morning,
Oh,
Mom."
she made it. Yeah, she got up. We talked last night in the morning. I mean,
Okay.
last night, and she said she was gonna try. Good morning, big girl.
All right. So we know that this is not everybody's hour, but like I said, this is going to be a great conversation, and I know that we're going to have a part two, so I'm not confused by that.
Oh,
Again, if you just joined us, you guys, please go ahead and hit share. Go ahead and subscribe to Nisha's Network YouTube channel because we want you to share this because we know that the message today will be so impactful. So, first of all, congratulations on access to His grace. Hold it up for us.
oh, okay. All
Really
right.
shiny.
So,
Access to His grace, which is available on Amazon. And I just want to read a little bit about this because your acknowledgments, and I'm not really going to go into the acknowledgments of probably what you want to talk about, but I'm going to just read this part. So, to anyone who has struggled to forgive yourself, bound by disappointment, shame, guilt, and embarrassment, I'm here to tell you that you can and will make it. You have access to His grace. God showed me grace and He loves you equally. He has the same grace waiting for you. Just trust Him. Tell us a little bit about that. The reason you even wrote the title, Access to His Grace.
I'm gonna be honest, Nisha. It really just came to me. So I was just like, God, okay, if you want me to write this book, you want me to get this out, what's the title? And I was just sitting there, just kind of doodling in my journal. And then Access to His Grace came. And then I loved her, but I didn't want her. And I was just kind of like, because that's strong. That's really strong. I loved her, but I didn't want her. Like that's deep. And so I was just like, But when I put both of them together for me, it just let me know that we all have access to God's grace no matter what it was. So it was like, this is the umbrella. I have access to His grace no matter what it was that I did. And insert whatever it is. And so that's why I wrote those acknowledgments at the beginning. Just what you need to understand is we all have access to God's grace, His forgiveness, to His comfort to say, it's all right. You made a mistake. It's all good. Don't hold yourself. I let it go. You need to let it go. Don't let people hold you. I got you.
Okay.
And out of this could actually come a lesson that I'm not only going to teach you, but I'm going to teach the world. And those that were looking at you saying,
Okay. So let me ask you this. When did you first realize that you had access to God's grace? Because it's a revelation for so many. And everybody doesn't reach that point all the time. Some people live in a state of shame, guilt. And I know every day we have access to it, but the acknowledgement of it, when you were confident in it, when did that happen for you?
It was a long time after I had my daughter. So I would say it took about 7 years for me to really have that moment of, I would just say it was almost a moment of relief. Like something just came over me, like it was just a weight that was lifted. And so I was just like, okay, what is grace? What is mercy? And I believe that's what I was going through. Like, what is grace? What is mercy? What is this we talk about? We get this from God. God gives us grace. He gives us mercy. What does that really define? What is that? What's the definition of that? And I defined it for myself that God forgave me. He said, take it off you. It's okay, take it off you. Now, this baby is a blessing. And so that's my story. And that's why I tell people that's my story. But for whatever it is, take whatever it is off of you, take it off. Take it off, give it back, give it to me. Give it to me. And walk. Walk knowing that you have God, that you have my covering, that you have my forgiveness, that you have my comfort, that you have my love. And that's all that really matters.
Okay.
And we're going to get through with whatever this is that you're going through right now. So it took about 7 years for me to realize that, and having that access to His grace to then say, oh, you can love this baby as you should be loving this baby and
Okay,
accepting this baby.
so let me just dive in and say that the purpose of this book was just not only to acknowledge the access to His grace, but the subtitle was "I loved her, but
Mm-hmm.
want her." And the reason I'm gonna just dive in real quick, this like I said, it's gonna be a part 2, you guys, because I can't get through all of what I want to say in 30 minutes. But what I do want to say is, I thought about when I was reading this and when I was listening to your interview. Before or for your launch, for your book launch, I was like, my story is very parallel,
Mm-hmm.
to Kentavia's because I got pregnant with Kristen and I always wanted her, but I didn't want the shame and the different things that was attached. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
want those things, the church stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
the bottom line is I want you to just share a little bit briefly about the purpose behind I loved her but didn't want her, because a lot of people don't know the beginning part. So just give us a brief history of just, you having your daughter and what that looked like, and in the world where you had to encounter all of these things that brought you to a space that you were in after becoming pregnant with her.
Okay. Well, if I can be honest, I had her at 18. So I got pregnant with her at the end of my senior year. I end up, she was born my freshman semester on Christmas break as a freshman in college.
Wow.
And so, right. So she was supposed to be born January the 5th.
Hmm.
2001, but she came December 31st, 2000. And so for me, there was a few things. I always said I never wanted to be a single mom. I'm like, I'm not gonna be a single mom. I'm like, that's not my destiny. That's not where I'm going with my life. I said that at a young age. Like, no, I'm gonna be married. I talk about it in the book, my own little, again, ideas. I'm gonna marry a basketball player. The reason why I say that, let me clear that out, because somebody asked me that. Oh, you wanted to be rich? No, now don't get me wrong. Now, clearly money is on me. But no, it was because I'm a kid. I'm like, I'm tall. So who else are tall? Basketball players. So I'm clearly going to marry a basketball player because we're going to be tall together. I swear, you can ask my friend Auntie Elaine. I used to say it all the time to her. And so in my mind, this was my route that I was going. I'm going to college because that's what I was taught. You go to college, you graduate from college, you get a good job, you get married, you have children. This is your life. And so for me, it was like, well, wait a second. No, that kid was supposed to come 8 steps away. It's now number 1 step. Oh no, how did we get here? And so I had that. I also was brought up in the church. Again, not quite that every time the doors was open, I was there, but just about every time the doors was open, I was there. I was at Sunday school all the way to the afternoon program. I grew up in a household where my mom made me read Proverbs and Ruth.
Come on.
Yes, she did. So I would never forget. And the King James version at that. I'm like,
But
Lord,
clearly Boaz was in your
goodness.
future.
Boaz was in my future, not random. But Boaz was in my future. But I also write about that in my book. Ruth
Yeah.
took a different route.
Right.
She had to take a different route too to get to her Boaz. She had her life set up too. She was like, I'm good. I'm married. Here I am, blah, blah, blah. And then it was like, oh, well, wait a minute. I'm not anymore. Now, what do I do? And she found wisdom. And that was something I had to do too. Being that I had read Proverbs, being that I had read Ruth, and there's something in that, train up a child in the way they should go, because I returned back to it. I really did. I returned back to it, and I really had to say, okay, there has to be something in Hattie making me, that's my mama's name, that's me.
Mama Hattie.
Hattie having me to read Proverbs and Ruth when I was a young child, before I even made it to high school, again, trying to decipher through King James by myself. But doing that, having that under my belt, I knew this was wrong. Oh my God, I done got pregnant. I have sinned. Clearly my sin is out here. And now what? Now what do I do with that? My sin is on display now. What do I do? On top of the fact that I knew that this wasn't what I wanted for my life either. So it was a struggle. That was majority of the struggle, because I disappointed myself. And then I disappointed God. And then I disappointed my family. So all of that on this 18-year-old mind and body was
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah. So I want to do this because for time's sake, I want to tell you guys, go to Amazon and purchase the book, Access to His Grace. It's available on Amazon because we're not going to have a chance to talk about the entire book today. Like I said, it'll be part 2, but this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to read you guys the chapters, the names of the chapters, and then I'm going to ask Kentavia a question concerning one of the chapters. So the first one is called "Where's My Family Unit?" Operation Hide This Baby. Not So Solid Plan. Plan B. Church girls apologize. Don't shower me. Why do women do this? Medicating the pain of my guilt. It's not your fault, baby. Access to its grace. It's available to you. And then there's a mother daughter activity. So I want to say, out of all these chapters that you wrote, which one stands out the most to you that says, this is the message? The entire book is powerful, you guys. And it's a powerful testimony of really overcoming. I really want to say that. Overcoming, because so many people stay stuck. It's like, oh, I know God's grace and mercy is over me. But have you overcome in that? Right? So which chapter do you really feel like, this message needs, if you had to choose one, the entire book is powerful, but choose one. I know which one that I love, but I'll let you go ahead and share.
One more time. So the question is, which chapter resonates?
Which chapter would you want to just hone in on today?
Ooh.
That stands out during this message. Just one today.
Okay. Just one today. It's available to you. I would probably go with that one today. It's available to you. Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. So let me go back to the one I want to just.
What you want to talk about? You go right on here, because I know we're on a limited time schedule.
We are on a limited
time. Tell me what you want to do.
So I want to talk about "It's Not Your Fault, Baby."
Baby. Okay. Oh, that's a good one too. Mm-hmm.
Yes, this is a good one. Tell us a little bit about that.
Ooh, with little bitty baby, because it's not her fault. It wasn't her fault. It wasn't. Little baby didn't ask to be here. Little baby, it's not her fault that her mom couldn't accept her at the time that she had her. That her mom wanted to shelf her. I just want to put on this. I said I want to put little baby on a shelf and come back and get her in about 25 years.
Yeah, yeah.
But I couldn't shelf her. I couldn't do that. And so then it was my job to love her. It was my job to find somewhere inside of me to treat her well, because it wasn't her fault. I started off the chapter by saying she was the perfect baby. You can have anybody. This little baby was perfect. I joke and say, because God knew my nerves wasn't there anyway, like for it. But she was. People be like, oh, you don't remember. No, you remember if your baby was a crying, hollering baby all the time. If that baby kept you up at night. Yes. But she also gave me some sense of peace too. Like, it was just like, sometimes I would look at her and she'd just be looking back at me with her big eyeballs. And I'm just like, I'm responsible for you. Yes. And she basically was like, you are.
Yes.
So what we gonna do, girl?
Yes.
What are we
gonna do? I want to read a little bit about from the chapter that says, day and night, I cried out to God and searched the Bible for scriptures to ease my pain. I needed scriptures to save my baby from the enemy's evil, sneaky plan. I had to find words in the good book that would quiet the awful words of, well, see, if you didn't have this baby, then you could, or your life would be good if you didn't have to take care of this baby. Those lies haunted me during quiet times, and I needed something to silence them once and for all. I searched the Bible for strength and truth about who I was. I wanted to know God's promises for both my baby and me. I was determined to find scriptures to give me strength to speak against anything coming against me. Now, when you were crying out to God, you said day and night, but was this when she was a newborn, or was this as she got older? When was this? Because I have a question behind it, but when was that, when you literally was crying out to God as you're looking at her? Is when she was a baby, or when she was a little older?
So it was when she was a toddler. So when she was first born all the way into a toddler, it was just kind of one of those things. Like I was still in shock. Like I can't believe this is happening to me. But I dressed up every day. I remember someone saying, I mean, you wouldn't be able to tell you didn't want Zaria, because she was always so cute. But I talk about that in the book. We dress our issues up all the time.
Yes, we do.
How often do we walk out the house with our issues dressed up?
Yes.
We do it all the time. And so when she became a toddler, I noticed she was super quiet. And okay, she still has a quiet temperament. ZZ, she not. I'm the extrovert. I'm loud enough for both of us. there was something that I'm so, again, access to God's grace. It was amazing that he showed me like, no, this is more than just quiet, baby. No. She's not just shy. Keep looking at her. Keep look. What do you see when you see her?
Yeah.
Oh, I see my guilt. Oh, I see my shame. Oh, because I carried this baby with my head down. When she would get in trouble, the first thing she would do is bow her head. I get ready to talk, and so I found myself saying, lift your head up. Look at me when I'm talking to you. Whoever's talking to you, let's look at, and she wasn't even getting in trouble about big things. She was 3. You know what, 3 year don't touch that. You know, keep your hands off that, stuff. But her head went straight down. And I'm just like, wow. So I knew from that moment when God revealed that to me, that she's carrying your shame, she's carrying your pain, your hurt, your guilt. I got to do something, and I got to do something fast. If I'm not even going to save me, I got to save little baby, because little baby, it's not her fault. She does not deserve to carry my guilt and my shame. She's the blessing here.
So the blessing in what I hear you saying is those having to read Proverbs every day, that wisdom was instilled in you, even when you didn't realize what it was doing, because that's wisdom. That is wisdom that you were woken up when she was a toddler. So many people don't wake up till the kids are 16, 17, and then they're like, oh my God, I allowed my pain to be inflicted upon my child. But I want to say this.
Or I deny it. Or deny it. That's what we do as a people. We deny it. We be like, I don't know what's wrong with that. I don't know what's wrong with you. I raised you right. I did what I had to do. No. Let's go back.
Or not even aware.
Or not aware.
Or not aware, right? So I wanna switch gears just a little bit, and I want to say, as an educator, as you're watching teenagers walk this journey, and do you find that a lot of them are carrying the weight of their parents?
Yes. Absolutely. And not aware.
What would you say to a parent? First of all, I'm gonna ask you from both standpoints. What do you say to the teenagers as an educator and watching them walk through this? Or what do you say as a parent to the parents to say, you know what, parents, if you could do anything, how would you encourage them?
Well, so that's a good question, because I don't really get a lot of time to do that. But if I could, because it's so much going on in school. But if I could, when we get those moments when we have those girl fights, you take those moments to have those girl fights to say, what's really wrong? What's going on here? What's the root of what you all are really arguing about or fighting about? Because it has nothing to do with this per se right here. We got something inside of us that we battling individually that we don't even know about. And so because we're battling this, we have to figure out, and especially as a child, you got to think about that. As a teenager, you don't know that. You don't know. All you know is I got an attitude. Every day I'm mad. And you're like, what are you mad about?
Yeah.
Why are you mad? Why are you mad? And so when I get a moment to talk to a student, I'm able to go down the list of what's going on. What's really going on? How are you today? How are things? What's going on in your world today? What happened last night? Okay, and so talking to them also about, you know what? In reality, we all have issues and we all got things that we have going on, but we can't put them out on other people. It's not the other person's fault.
Yeah.
We got to deal with what's going on.
Now we're speaking to the teenagers now.
To the teenagers, absolutely. Now the parents, I don't get to talk to often.
So let's talk to them for a minute. Let's talk to them. Parents, grandparents, pay attention. What would you tell them?
I would tell them first, be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself and go back to that first place that you was hurting and you were in pain and you experienced that first, like, oh, this hurt. Oh, this hurts. And usually that hurt is someone disappointed you. Someone usually disappointed you first a lot of times. Or sometimes you did. In my case, I disappointed myself. So go back to that first place where you felt that pain that you just like, oh my God, I've never felt this before. This hurts so bad. Be honest with yourself by yourself. Because a lot of times we think that to overcome healing and overcome things, I got to tell somebody, I got to go through like letting the whole world know my business. And it's not about that. You go first and you write it down if you can. If you can't, think about it. Go back to that first place and begin to forgive yourself. And of course, it doesn't happen overnight, but you go back and you keep telling yourself, I didn't know any better. or you know what, I need to forgive this person. That's why I did add the scriptures, and I tell people all the time. I'm
Yeah.
like, I know it sounds cliche, but that's it. Really going back to those biblical scriptures of forgiveness and asking God to help you not only to forgive that person if it was someone who hurt you, but to forgive yourself and
Yeah.
give yourself grace and say, you know what? I was allowed to make that mistake. I
Yeah.
was allowed to, because it was a lesson in that for me. Well, what did you learn from that? What did you get from it? Because everything, all lessons don't end in like this tragic. It was tragic. What was the good that came out of that lesson? Out of my
Right.
lesson came a beautiful baby girl.
Right. So let me stop you because I want to go back to the title. We only got a few minutes, but I want to go back to the subtitle. I loved her but didn't want her. And I know in this case, some cases you were talking about Zaria, but the bottom line is that when you said go back to that first place, it really was I loved Kentavia, but I didn't want the Kentavia. I didn't want her life to be this way. So
Mm-hmm.
I think as I'm hearing you say that, even though you could talk about you didn't want the situation, but it's like I love Nisha, but I didn't love the Nisha and want the Nisha that actually presented the mistakes and the different things that happened. So let's talk about that healing process because I think sometimes we put the pain on the children or we put the pain on them, but you said go back to that first place where you were hurt of really who you didn't love in the beginning because it's not about the beautiful bouncing baby or it's not about how the overcoming part. It's about have you healed those places where you held your own self hostage and didn't want her that turned out that wasn't like the basketball, marrying the basketball player or whatever the case may be. So tell me a little bit about that. Let's end up with this healing. Oh, before I do that, because I want you to make that your last final point, I want to say thank you. Kentavia dedicated not only to our beautiful late sister Lynetta Smith, but she also did it to me as well. She dedicated the book to me as well. And I want to say thank you for that. I'm so honored and humbled. And I remember the day that I said, God's got something spectacular for you, girl. I saw her standing before, and this is just I'm going to say this is a big, because I was about to say this is a minor, but this is a big, the first of many big, huge opportunities that God is going to open up for you and many doors. And she is available, you guys, for speaking engagements and hosting workshops and conferences and speaking to the masses. But say thank you. I'm honored that you would even consider, dedicating a portion of this to me. I really, really appreciate that. But I don't really care about me. I really care about the fact that healing, that's saying I loved her but didn't want her, but clearly you found the love and the grace that God had for her, and I know you love her now, right? Now I'm not even talking about Zara. I'm talking about Kente.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got where you were going. Yeah.
Go ahead and tell us about that.
I think with loving yourself, that's crazy. I just had this conversation a couple of days ago. You can tell someone who does not love themselves. Again, because we dress it up and we as the kids was, as we would say when I would say stuff, part of the trend, you're doing too much. You're doing too much because you're doing too much to try and overcompensate for what you got going on inside of you. And it comes out and it's spilling out on other people. And you hurting other people that's around you that they don't even want to be around you because you don't love yourself. And it's so interesting when I hear people like, I don't need nobody, blah, blah, blah. Yes, you do. I
Yeah.
don't like people because you don't like yourself. That's why
Yeah.
you don't like people. Because if anybody knows me, I'm a people person. Love people. Everybody. I want everybody. Come on, everybody. Come on. We're gonna have a good time together, everybody. But that's because I love myself, and I made it a point to find healing because I always said, and this is no shade to anybody, but I'm like, I don't want to be a 40-year-old bitter Betty. I feel like that's just too much
Come
weight
on,
on me.
40-year-old bitter Betty.
I
Don't be
said,
a
I don't
40-year-old bitter
want to
Betty.
do that. I don't want to hold all of that inside. It takes too much energy to be mad at somebody. It
Yeah.
takes too much energy to hold grudges. It takes too much energy. Now I give you a little attitude here and there because after a while, I mean, my grace do run out. I'm just, but it's not enough where I'm going to say if I see you, I'm just gonna put out all of this like rah. No, I'm not gonna do that. No, because I love myself too much. What I do know is that brings out stress in
Yes.
me. And I
Yeah.
know that's not how God wants me to live. He doesn't want me to live in this place where I'm angry, where I don't forgive, where I live in this space of I don't trust people. Then he would have put you on Mars by yourself.
Yes.
I don't trust people. I don't want to do, I'm not here for other people. Yeah, I am. I'm here for other people. That's why I wrote this book. Because I heal, and guess what? I want my sisters and I want my brothers to heal too.
Yes. Yes.
That's I want us all to be happy. I want us all to be in our state of contentment, whatever that may look like.
Yes.
And it does start with yourself. And it can start with yourself by yourself. Everybody ain't got to know you're going to therapy. That ain't everybody's business. That's not. Everybody don't know that you reading your scripture and tearing it down every night. Because I read Romans 5:1-6 all the time, every single day. I had to because I knew I needed to be at a place that was healthy, not only for me, but for my daughter, for my niece, for my sister, for my friends, those
Yes.
around me. I
Yes.
knew that Kentavia needed to come to a place of happiness. And I don't care that it took me 7 years to do it, because I did it in my time, because now I'm good. And if
That's
I do revert back to anything, because it ain't like life is over for me, so things happen, I
right.
can go back and I can say, Kentavia, you have access to his grace. Go back.
Access to his grace. Come on, y'all see this?
Go
Access
back.
to his grace. Access to his grace. Available on Amazon, you guys. This is a must read. And I want to encourage you all to purchase it, not only for yourself, but purchase it for your teenagers. Purchase it for your preteens. I think it's appropriate to really pour back into the next generation and really share the stories. And you know what? The scripture that tells us in Revelation, we overcome the devil through the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. And this is going to bring forth so much healing to so many people. I want to just say, don't hide behind not loving her. Go ahead and know that you have access to his grace. Kentavia, this has been like so powerful and so amazing. This is so amazing. So if there was any last pointers you would want someone to know and walk away with, if you had that opportunity to share, what do you want people to hear the most?
I also want people to hear that's a great title that you pulled out. One of the titles that you pulled out. It's not your fault, baby.
Yeah.
And it's available to you. Because I think, again, we hear so much, like I had to go through and ask, what grace, mercy, what's the difference? They not the same? No. Okay, what's the difference between them? It's available to you. Grace is available to you. And give yourself grace.
Yeah. Give yourself grace.
Give yourself grace. And
Yeah.
don't allow anybody to nail you to the cross.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Wow.
Don't do that. Don't give anyone that opportunity to do that. So God's grace is available to you, and you have grace. Give yourself grace as well too.
Wow.
Again,
Wow. So you guys, I want to say thank you again so much, Kentavia. And I know there's going to be a part 2 because I can feel it. I have so much more to dissect and want you to just really continue. So we're going to look back at a part 2. But until then, you guys go back to Amazon to access to his grace. The diva herself, the educator, the anointed, the powerful speaker.
okay.
Somebody looking forward to her second book. You know what I mean? It's probably going to be access to his grace part 2. I don't know, but there's something else coming. So just be on the lookout. Go to Instagram, go to Facebook, follow her. If you need someone to encourage you, reach out to Kentavia.
Oh yes, for
And
sure.
by all means, because it's a blessing to have someone that you can reach out to and have a mentor, and understands that looks at your teenagers every day in the face, So it's been such a blessing, you guys, to have you here with me. Thank you so much. I love you so much.
Thank
And
you
I'm
for
looking
having
forward
me.
to your suddenlies, all the things God's about to do. Okay?
Okay, I'm listening because again, you the one who said it. Grab my microphone. I'm like, what is
I
this?
did. I told her. Tell them what I said, Kentavia.
You said it. This how you said it. Because I said it in the book. You grabbed my shoulders. You was like, when you gonna stop being scared and grab your microphone? And I was like, first of all, I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about. Is that
but okay, Nisha. And I remember telling Patrick,
yes.
My brother dad. And I remember telling my sister, and I told Lynetta, and I told Casey, and they all were like, well, if Nisha said it, girl, yeah, it's coming. I don't know when it's. And Lynetta told me to write it down. So I remember it was that Mother's Day weekend.
Yes.
She said, write it down so when it happens, you can go back to it. And I was like, okay. And Patrick and Casey was like, and that's why I usually just walk away from Nisha, because when she say it, it's coming. So I look forward to what is it that God has for me. I do.
Yes. And your seed, and Zaria.
Oh, for sure, honey. Yes, I
Because
can't
it
wait to
doesn't
see it.
stop with us. It
does.
spreads, it goes, it's a legacy.
It
So
does.
love you so much. Until next time, you
Until
guys.
next
We're here with
time.
Kentavia Johnson. You guys go ahead and follow her on all social media handles. Definitely go to her website and look her up, and definitely go to Amazon and purchase Access to His Grace, because we all need it. Love you guys. Until next time, Kentavia, talk to you soon. Love you.
Bye, Nisha.
Yeah, 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 yeah.